Welcome to the first installment of Transformation in a Crisis, a podcast series created and presented by Apex Visibility. We'll be interviewing key decision makers of organizations across multiple industries and sectors within South Africa, unpacking the effect and transformation brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. Today we'll have Ryan Egnos, an executive director at Apex, and he'll be chatting to Adam Kelly, Group Sales Director at Richfield Graduate Institute of Technology.
Hey Adam, it's great to have you on board for our first episode. How are you doing?
Yeah, very well, thanks, and you, Ryan, in virtual environment and different times, definitely.
Let's jump straight into the questions. Who and what is Richfield?
So Richfield is a private higher education provider. We mainly focus on contact learning at one of our 36 campuses located nationwide, and that's complemented by our distance learning offering as well, which obviously has been a key focus over the last few weeks and will be a key strategic focus for us in the coming months. Richfield's offering ranges from your high certificates right through to diplomas, degrees, postgraduate honors programs, and launching soon within the coming months will be our MBA. Richfield has a specific focus on IT and business. Really, that focus comes off the back of quite a rich history, a 30-year history of the business, Ryan. We started out as the PC Training College, which is a very well-known brand within the market. That was in the early 90s when computer hardware, we were all becoming familiar with various computer hardware, as well as Microsoft and the Microsoft offering, which is now part of our daily lives. But in those days, it was something unknown and very new. And Richfield, or PC Training in those days, started out in training people on the hardware and software of things.
Amazing. Would you say that the broad depth of classes and rich history is what sets Richfield apart?
Yeah, so Ryan, when it comes to the history, our history, as I mentioned, dates back 30 years and really has a strong tie with technology. PC Training was doing exactly that. It was training users that were new to the type of hardware that was being introduced in the early 90s. What we've done over the 30 years is always kept technology at the heart of our offering. So as we've developed accredited courses in IT and business over the years, technology has remained a key part of that. And I think that's what really differentiates us. The ability to offer each one of our students that registers a tablet PC that is SIM-enabled, that gives them direct access to our online learning platform, that is in turn zero-rated, is, in my opinion, a key differentiator for Richfield. Similarly, for our IT students, we found in the past that the tablet PC didn't enable them to truly execute on a lot of the tasks and projects that they needed to do. So we've now, in 2020, provided all of our IT students in our diploma in IT and our BSc IT with laptops that, again, are SIM-enabled and offer free data or zero-rated data using our online learning platform as well as our website.
That's incredible that you're empowering students to work from home utilizing zero-rated data, which is free for the student to log in and engage with Richfield. Has COVID-19 had a massive impact on your business, and were you prepared for the situation we find ourselves in?
So I don't think any business was quite prepared for what we've been faced with, but because of our use of technology in supporting students, the infrastructure was there. So when it came to having to switch the delivery model away from contact 100%, we had the infrastructure to be able to do it. We had obviously the tablet PCs that I made mention of. We had the online learning system in terms of Moodle, and obviously the zero-rated data being the most important component to that, because that obviously allows little financial disruption to our students to enable them to carry on studying. So the only change really is enhancing the content on our online learning system with video lectures, recorded lectures, as well as additional research content to enable our students to access, obviously while studying from home.
Incredible. The tools that you're offering are pivotal to making the learning experience as seamless as possible. Are there any other forms of technology that you're incorporating during this time, possibly for learners and lecturers alike?
Certainly. So, as a business, this has certainly accelerated our digital strategy. Making use of virtual meeting rooms such as Microsoft Teams, Zoom, and the likes has never really been core to our business. So, the acceleration of incorporating those type programs and the way we communicate as management, but also giving channels to our students to communicate with them as well. One of our favorite mediums of communication with students especially has been through WhatsApp. I think, the fact that many students, obviously that's the preferred medium in which they want to communicate. And, the use of WhatsApp groups allows lecturers to communicate with the class, to keep updates, to share any updates that they need to be, and also hear the views of the students direct. So we're always at the rock face, so to speak, in terms of any issues faced by our students.
I'd like to dive deeper into WhatsApp for Business, where Richfield is enabling students and lecturers to problem solve using their mobile devices. Do you foresee it predominantly being a function of dealing with queries, or do you see it in the future becoming something where students can engage in learning?
So at the moment, it's being used as just a communication tool. Really understanding exactly what are the issues faced by students and being able to address them at the scale that WhatsApp allows in terms of the group functionality. However, with the developments of and the enhancements of WhatsApp in terms of document sharing and the likes, it really assists us when it comes to key communiques that we want to distribute to students in the form of PDF documents, small things that we would usually send via email and expect the students to receive by email. We can now make use of WhatsApp to send those communiques, and any other really important communiques that they need to see that would come from the Department of Education or the Council for Higher Education, especially in these times.
Engaging with your students on this one-to-one platform, I'm sure that the relationship between students, lecturer, and Richfield is central to your business. What has COVID-19, coupled with technology, done to your relationship with the staff and learners?
Yeah, and I think, Ryan, what you've touched on is probably at the heart of our management team, our strategy at the moment, and that's student engagement, because it's very easy to drive engagement face-to-face. When you're engaging on a personal level in the same room with a lecturer or a class, the engagement levels are very high. When you're by yourself engaging with technology, it's much more difficult to reach those type of engagement levels. So our staff and our lecturers and staff alike have really gone the extra mile in terms of how they engage with students and to drive that engagement. So again, to quickly be able to respond to a query, just as one would be able to do face-to-face, I think is key to keeping those engagement levels. Often an email, like I made mention of, you don't get that instant satisfaction of a reply or an answer, whereas, mediums like WhatsApp, it's instantaneous. People remain very close to WhatsApp. It's often on their mobile device, and, it's involved in everything they do every day. So, it's able to receive information quickly, as well as in the form of our lecturers, provide information very quickly as well.
I think that this is a key point that you have touched on there. Interestingly enough, though Richfield is in the education sector, we have seen this trend across all our clients and across all sectors. The importance of a one-to-one relationship with continuous communication in this day and age cannot be overlooked.
Absolutely. And I think it goes down to the way we communicate, but also to the way we engage in everything we do. With technology and specifically, mobile-based applications, anything we want is a click away. And when it comes to wanting something, it's always instantaneous. We're so used to getting instant feedback from Google if we're asking for something. We're so used to getting instant feedback from suppliers or clients or friends through Facebook, through Twitter, through obviously a lot of the mobile applications that many businesses drive a lot of their communications through. So instant feedback is key, and I think that's why we as Richfield engaged in WhatsApp for Business as well, to really not only be able to communicate well with our existing students, but more importantly to be able to communicate well with prospective students that are looking to find out about Richfield.
Absolutely. It makes complete sense to make the full offering available to prospective and existing students. Has working from home during this time brought about an abrupt evolution in Richfield's approach to learning?
So obviously, it wasn't a choice to, how quickly we needed to evolve in terms of that evolution. That evolution came overnight, and it was forced upon us overnight. Basically, in order to adapt quite quickly to a virtual working environment, the key components are software and hardware. And I think what we did is, together with our, very jacked up IT team who moved very quickly, is equip everyone with the necessary hardware. And I'm not just talking laptops and Zoom. In the Richfield environment, we've got a fully functional call center that we needed to remain open in a virtual environment. So it was equipping, setting up various call directing software to be able to divert incoming calls to our call center, who are actually sitting at home taking those calls. It was managing chatbots that we have on our website, and equipping them with obviously the hardware, the system, and the data to be able to manage those chatbots. So it was more than just a laptop, which they already had, and a Zoom application. I think there was quite a big effort from our team that we needed to do to evolve in a very short period of time.
As you are speaking, it's not hard to understand that Richfield is a dynamic and multifaceted business with multiple touch points and elements. What do you see the future of learning looking like for students and Richfield as an organization post-COVID-19?
So it's amazing. When forced to work in a digital world, Ryan, we see what's possible. Not just working in a virtual, or working from home in a virtual way. We see it in other things we do. We see it in the ability to exercise from home and not necessarily needing a physical place to go to exercise. Similarly, with learning, we're seeing the possibilities of not necessarily having to go to a campus to be able to obtain a quality education. If we've got all the tools and resources at our disposal, we can then, actually obtain a full qualification from wherever we are. And I think that definitely is the future. We've seen it in our own portfolio that our distance learning offering has by far seen the most growth over the last 2-3 years. However, that's ought to accelerate. When people start to see, obviously they've all now been exposed to technology, but also, the concept of doing anything virtually, let alone education, is now a lot more familiar with end users and prospective students alike. Whereas, it was probably less familiar before the COVID-19 outbreak.
I'd like to touch on one of the elements you just spoke about. Do you see your technology enabling Richfield students to gain a holistic approach to education, which is first and foremost the content, but also lifestyle and healthy choices?
Yeah, I think when it comes to learning, you got to think back to the parent at the end of the day, who's often the key stakeholder that is part of the decision-making process when it comes to choosing a university or tertiary institution. Because one of the key elements to that are obviously cost as well as safety. So, parents, children coming out of school, they're now being left to send their child off to university. And I think when it comes to, maybe changing how people learn and offering that end-to-end, technology has already shown that it can present a full end-to-end offering. And if that can now be done within a guaranteed safe environment, I think that'll be key to students that have safety as a potential concern, and parents alike. And it also allows flexibility, because I think you've seen in the world that we live in today, you make mention of wellness and the likes. People want to invest in themselves, not only from an education perspective, but they want to invest in their health. They want to invest in exercise, remaining fit, and other activities that can just result in a balanced lifestyle. And being able to work from home obviously requires discipline, but it does allow that flexibility to study when you want to study, whether that be very early in the morning potentially or late at night. Those obviously wouldn't be times that would a normal, at a contact site or building would offer. So really, in terms of the technology enhancements, the end-to-end offering is there. Obviously, one of the key issues in South Africa at the moment is the cost of data to be able to roll out, all of the technologies.
Can you expand on zero-rated data and how you're making that possible to your students?
So, Ryan, what we've done is we've partnered with a very well-known mobile network provider. That partnership has been on the go for about six or 7 years now. And what that's enabled to do is all of our technology, our hardware, equipped with a SIM card for that mobile network provider. And that SIM card is zero rated on our specific learning platforms. So the nice thing is anytime a student logs onto our learning platform where all the content that they require is, obviously it would be zero rated. In addition to that, we do give all of our students 100 megabytes of free data a month, just for any other quick references when it comes to research or making use of any other data generating applications that they may use. It's not a lot, but it does allow, of course, the quick use of certain key applications.
Absolutely. Unlimited access to learning material is an incredible means of enabling students to continue with their studies. That is a huge part of what you're doing as a South African company to enable South Africans. Does Richfield have any other investments in South Africa and the community?
I think we remain obviously education focused. So when it comes to investments in community, we invest in the community in bursaries. Richfield offers bursaries to a lot of prospective students. We can go onto our website and there's a specific bursary channel, where any bursary inquiries can come through. And I think that's our way of kind of engaging with the communities. We've embarked on a very exciting project this year that was supposed to take place actually as we speak, Ryan, a very well-known cycle event called the Joburg to See. Richfield was the route sponsor for this year's event. And what really drew us to the event was the incredible work that's been done right up along the route in various communities. And the event is centered around giving back to the communities. So we thought it a great partnership to engage with, to really enhance the quality and the access to education for a lot of the communities and rural communities that exist along the route. So in terms of investment community, it really is education, is centered around education. And our kind of vision at the moment is to really provide each family in South Africa with one graduate, because that degree, that qualification, that change in lifestyle doesn't only impact the single person that obtained that qualification. It impacts that whole person's family. So they can lift an entire family out of the poverty bracket that they sit in at the present moment. And we have obviously a shared vision with educators across South Africa, both private and public. But it's great to be one of the partners or one of the contributors to that vision in South Africa.
It sounds like an incredible initiative. We take our hats off to the Richfield team on this. Do you think that technology that you have implemented will create a hybrid approach to learning after COVID-19 when things go back to, inverted commas, normal?
I think from our perspective, we definitely see an increased focus on online learning approach, not just in terms of obtaining a degree or qualification online, just even short courses, people investing in their own development that they would have usually done through potentially contact training. They will now say, okay, well, if this is now, because of COVID-19, a lot of education institutions, including Richfield, have made a lot of content available online. So the guys are thinking again, I'm now used to a virtual environment. I'm more comfortable with it. It's more familiar to me. And, why change in that respect and go back to a contact learning environment when I can make use, or stay in this newly adapted virtual world? At the end of the day, 18, 19-year-olds that come into Richfield, they still want that campus life. For them, it's what they've always looked at, what they've always, kind of envisioned university to be like. So I don't see that changing in the drop of the hat, but definitely as we see higher education and, kind of high school education becoming more online and more virtual, we'll see tertiary education follow suit. So it's definitely going to move towards a more virtual, technological driven approach. But I don't see that changing dramatically overnight post COVID-19.
I'm sure you've been keeping your finger on the analytics being fed back to you by all your solutions that you have implemented, such as WhatsApp for Business, so that you can make the best decisions moving forward?
Absolutely. And I mean, I think data-driven decisions is a key component to, how, as you mentioned, how we measure the success of this, forced delivery model that we've now been had to adapt, as well as the success of other initiatives. Just in the way our students interact, as I keep making mention, they were familiar to certain methods that often involved going to a bank, for example, to make payments, going to campus to a campus library to pull out a textbook or any other research material. Now they've become familiar with online payment methods, for example, when it comes to paying fees that they would never have really looked at before. They've now become familiar with doing searching in digital libraries and retrieving content from digital libraries. So now that they've become familiar to this enhanced or this digital environment that they find themselves in, a lot of them will stick to that post-COVID-19. And because of simply the convenience factor that's associated with it, and it's become the new norm, especially with the COVID-19, especially how we see it, probably impacting these students for another couple of months still. So it really will settle into the new norm for them and the new routine and how they go about things.
Absolutely. In closing, where can our listeners find Richfield online? So
you can find us on our website at www.richfield.ac.za. You can find us on Facebook under www.facebook.com/Richfield Graduate Institute of Technology. We're also on Instagram. We're on Twitter. You can contact us on info@richfield.ac.za for any email queries. And one of our new innovations, Ryan, is WhatsApp for Business. So you can contact Richfield on 082-321-321. Engage with us on WhatsApp. It'll take you on a pretty cool user journey that we believe will get you the information that you require almost at your fingertips. And if not, there's obviously the functionality to engage with one of our call center agents who will phone you back, within either on the day that you request it or at least within 24 hours of you getting in touch with us. So we remain committed to being very close to the needs of any prospective students as well as existing students. There is updates on our website on COVID-19. All the news is there on a dedicated website page that we've set up. And one of the latest innovations, Ryan, that we've set up is online courses. So feel free to go to our website and you'll look for a banner at the top of our website saying online learning, and you'll see all the information you need to see under that. So feel free to get in touch.
Amazing. Adam Kelly, Group Sales Director of Richfield, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Ryan and team, and stay safe and take care.